Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is going to be one of my far and few in between wrapping tutorials. This is a bonus video that I'm going to put up because this wrap has been requested so much, and because of course I have quite a following of people who also wrap their heads. It just makes sense that I do once in a while a wrapping tutorial. And in case you found me on account of this video, there's a whole playlist of a lot of wrapping tutorials that you can check out as well. Okay, so sweeties, I used to do at least once a week, and now I've kind of reduced a little bit, but that is what it is. So if you've just found me, I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist. I'm living for colorful makeup and colorful styling. Feel free to check out my social media, which is linked in the description box down below, and of course also my channel, and subscribe because I would love to have you here. So this video today is dedicated to my besties. So I'm going to call this the besties wrap because I kind of always give names to the wraps because people always ask me which wrap is that, and then it helps to have a name, right? So this is the besties wrap. I want to dedicate this to the love and support of my besties who are my lifeline, and I have a couple of besties. I know usually one has one, I have a lot. Because, you know, we're living with abundance. So that is also why I'm just allowing myself to have a lot of besties, and I really truly live relationship with them like almost every single day, depending on how stressful the day is, but we are together like this, you know, and that is wonderful, and it's a blessing. And I never knew that that was possible because I was always the one, believe it or not, who never had friends. You know, I was always the odd one out. So yeah. So in any case, let us go right into this. For this wrap, I'm going to zoom you out, and I should also tell you that I'm working with new camera settings now, and everything is different here now. So that's why I don't know, if it is not 100% the way it should be, you have to cut me some slack because I'm still working on the setup to like perfect it a little bit. Okay, now let us bring in the mirror also, so I can see myself, and let us work on the wrap. Okay, sweeties, you need 3 scarves for this wrap, okay? And this, of course, maybe you will recognize it if you're following me on social media, and especially in the wrapping crowd, because you will realize that this is the one that has been requested lately a lot, okay? So this is how it looks more or less when it's done, and I'm going to dismantle the whole thing, and I'm going to show you how I did this. Just be aware of the fact that depending on how you place your scarves, because you never place your scarves exactly the same way when you're wrapping twice in a row, right? It always turns out a tiny little bit different, but you will get the general idea, all right? Also, beyond that, I'm not the kind of wrapping person who is like everything has to be in a straight line. This is not how I wrap. I'm kind of going with the flow, you know, but I'm going to tell you exactly how I do it. Okay, so you need 3 scarves. And you can see that I'm using scarves here that are sort of in the same color family, but of course you can go completely wild. Okay, so, and I'm wearing my shaper, and this is my super old lumpy, the lumpiest of Wendy shapers that you can ever find in the whole universe, and I still love it, you know? And it's not like I don't have a new one, because I actually do have a new one, but this is like an old shoe that is just the best shoe that you ever have, you know? And that you can walk miles in and it will never cause you any problems. So this is my shaper. You see how loose this is? Just saying that it does not need to be a problem, because if you're new to wrapping, usually the shaper sits snug to your head, but this is so worn out that this is actually super loose. And I'm wearing my hair in a high bun, so basically that holds the shaper in place. Okay, if you don't have any hair underneath, that is of course then a problem, because the shaper won't have anything to hold on to, but in this case it's okay. All right, so as the first scarf, I'm using a basic pashmina. All of these scarves are from my private collection, but I'm going to leave, for example, the Rapunzel website down in the description box in case you want to check out a website with all kinds of supplies for head wrapping. Okay, so this is how it looks. This used to have fringes. I cut them off when I had a tantrum. Yeah, just saying. This is years ago, you know, just saying that this is a very old scarf, and it had to suffer my rage. Yeah. Okay, so sweeties, now I'm going to just fold it in a tiny little bit to make it a little bit shorter. And now I'm going to place this from the top down. I'm going to aim for having it hanging down on both sides the same length, more or less. There's always hope. And now I'm just gathering both sides here and I'm crossing over behind my head. Okay? So this is how it is, and it worked out pretty good. Okay, so this is the first step. Now the next one, you just take whatever scarves you have, okay? It doesn't really matter. So this one here is actually really, really cute. I bought this locally also years ago, and it kind of has this embroidery, like the folklore kind of a thing, you know? I'm not using it for this today. I'm actually more using it like for this color, but it doesn't matter, you know? So I'm not layering it in a special way to like showcase this or so, it really doesn't matter. Okay, sweeties, this is what it is. Again, I'm taking it sort of at the halfway point here and I'm placing it down from the top down. And also this one, I'm going to cross over behind my head and I'm adding it to the ones that I have here. Okay, tug a little bit so it doesn't lose, especially it doesn't loosen. You know, especially when you have, like me, a shaper that is not snug anymore. You kind of always have to tug on the tails here a little bit so you don't lose the whole thing, you know. All right, so the last one is a bit of a sparkly one. Also this I think I bought this in a secondhand store at some point. This one has fringes. It still has. Sometimes I just cannot take fringes, you know. Sometimes I just don't have patience for it, but you know, whatever. Okay, sweeties, if you're new to wrapping, maybe try to use scarves that maybe don't have fringes because they're kind of sometimes high maintenance, you know. So also this one I'm taking here at the middle and I'm also placing it down just the same like the second scarf. Okay, I'm just placing it a little bit towards the back so I'm not losing the effect of the second one that we placed down. And I'm doing exactly the same thing, crossing over and adding it to the pile. Okay, now choose one side. I'm going to choose this side and I'm going to braid. Okay, so that's why we have 3 scarves. I'm going to just do a regular braid, but very, very loose. The thing behind that, or the thought behind that, is that I wanted to layer nicely when I'm afterwards bringing up the braid to, you know, towards the top of my head. If you're braiding very, very tight, it ends up looking like a sausage, and that's not what we want. It's not a pretty look, okay? At least not for this wrap. There are occasions where it can look good, but mostly I would say don't braid very tight. So you can see I'm super loosely braiding this and only a few loops basically, you know. I'm not braiding the whole thing, just a little bit so we get, you know, till here maybe. Okay, so now I'm bringing this up. As you can see now, it layers much nicer than if it would have been braided super tight. And now I'm holding this here with one hand, and now I'm taking the scarf that I placed down first, the basic pashmina, just this one, and I'm bringing that one up, and I'm going to tie a knot with the rest of the braid, basically, right here on top of my head. All right, so that is how it looks now. All right. Okay, sweeties, now, of course, these 2 are left, so I'm going to bring those 2 up as well behind this. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm bringing these 2 up behind. Oops. Okay, and now I'm going to take the remaining part of the basic pashmina from here and I'm going to tie a knot. So you see that one knot is here and this one will be over here because this is where this part of the basic pashmina comes out of this knot. Okay, so this is what it is. So I'm tying another knot here. All right, this is how it looks. So you do have one knot here and you do have one knot here. All right, I hope you can see it. Okay, now basically what we do is we're just flipping the second knot a little bit towards the back so it doesn't stand up like this, but I'm just laying it down basically on the top of my shaper, you know? And then I'm just tugging away this part here, right here. Okay, now in this case, of course, if you don't have to deal with fringes, if you're a beginner, that's going to be easier, but if you have fringes, it's also not a big deal. Okay, and now here we basically do the same. So I'm just deciding what goes where, you know, but basically everything will be tucked away here, you know, between here and here, you know. So you just tuck it in, and then you can always just sort it out a little bit and move it around and stuff like that. But more or less this is all it is. So it is actually super, super easy. And this wrap, as most of my wraps, is based on my one and only wrap. The only, no, what is it called? The only one wrap. That is also a video that I highly recommend, because basically I am spinning off wraps from that wrap all the time. That is the one wrap that I think you need to know if you have my style, or if you want to have my style, then this is the one that I would highly recommend, and everything else is just, I don't know, played versions or played out versions of that same wrap. Okay, so this is how it looks. Maybe I want to just get a little bit more color here on this side, so I'm just moving the scarves here around a little bit, deciding on how to tuck them away. But you can see that it is the same wrap as you saw in the beginning, but kind of, you know, the placement always changes a tiny little bit, and so the overall outcome also changes a tiny little bit. What you can also do, which is really, really cute, especially when you have scarves that are not long enough to really tuck them away properly, you can also then just like flip them around and just, you know, just play with it. Just play with it. And if you have scarves that don't let you do what you want to do, then just make them do something else. It's really, really easy, really. Okay, so this one is also super, super short. So you know what? I'm going to just make it like fluffy and tuck it in a tiny little bit here within itself, so it turns into an ornament. And this is basically all you need to do, you know? So it looks a little bit different than in the beginning, but as I told you, it always depends also how you put them down in the very beginning of the wrap, because if you just shift them a tiny little bit to this side or that side, it all influences then the outcome at the end, you know, because it depends then how much you have left to tuck away. So this is what it is. This is the whole magic. Yeah. So let me know what you think. I think this is a really, really cute wrap. And again, depending on how you're playing with the colors or the textures of the scarves or the patterns of the scarves, you can create a new wrap every single day. Nobody will ever know that you're always wearing the same wrap, seriously. And it looks way more complicated than it is. And that is kind of also one of my secrets, that basically what I'm doing is all super, super simple, and it looks way more sophisticated than it really, really is. All right, sweeties, let me know your opinion about this down in the comments. And if you're new here, just come and say hi. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, because I'm so, so happy to have you here. Beyond that, of course, check out my description box. If you're interested what I have on my face, makeup wise, then please check it out. And also you have, of course, there are all my discount codes that I have with different indie brands, of course, makeup related. And beyond that, also my links to social media and ways to support my channel in case you wish to do so. Okay, I hope you did enjoy yourself. I very, very much enjoyed myself. I hope this turned out well with my new setup here. And beyond that, of course, again, a huge, super, super huge thank you to my besties, who are just my lifeline, you know? So this is the Besties wrap, and I hope you enjoyed. So I shall see you here super soon for my next video, and up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.